Hey everyone, Mike Pekarsky here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I'm going to give you guys an update on the coronavirus situation here. Uh, I'm in a flooded neighborhood. We just had a huge rainstorm. This is not the news. This is pretty common, but uh, a bit of a slice of life for you guys to see from Vietnam. So it's 6:20 p.m. on Wednesday here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam's biggest city. The Ministry of Health just announced 41 new coronavirus cases this late afternoon, which is a big number for Vietnam. That put the country over 700 cases in total. Somewhat worryingly, there's cases in two provinces just announced that hadn't had them previously, but they're all still linked to Da Nang, the center of this current outbreak, which started about a week and a half ago. They still don't know what the source was of this new outbreak, but it's still centered in Da Nang. We've had 8 cases here in Ho Chi Minh City. And also from starting today, masks, you can be fined up to $15 for not wearing one. The government had advised that people wear them previously, and they noticed that a lot of people weren't paying attention to that, so they've instituted fines. So some of you will ask before you commented on the lack of mask wearing here. So as you can see on this walk, if we see more people in masks, although there might not be that many people out because of the weather. So for any viewers just joining, this is Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, right after a huge rainstorm. And also after the Ministry of Health just announced 41 new coronavirus cases, taking the national total to over 700. That's been the entire pandemic. There have also been 8 deaths, all of which have occurred since last Friday. So just in the last 5 or 6 days. Vietnam had been the largest country by population to not record a coronavirus death yet. That ended a few days ago, unfortunately. So again, all of the cases, I think we're nearing 200 cases in this fresh outbreak after going over 3 months with no detected community transmission, have been linked to Da Nang on the central coast, the country's third or fourth largest city, depending on how you count the population. That city is under pretty strict lockdown for another week or so. This is Ho Chi Minh City. We've had 8 new cases. Bars and nightclubs are closed, but business otherwise is normal. Some people are choosing to work from home, but that hasn't been mandated. The government is really cognizant of the economic damage that could come from another lockdown. We had one in late March, early April, and they've explicitly said that they don't want the major cities to have to shut down unless they absolutely have to. And one other thing to note that starting today, people can be fined up to $15 for not wearing a mask in public. I know some previous viewers had commented that it didn't seem like a lot of people were wearing masks here, so let's see if that's changed a bit. maybe go into that shopping center right there. Might give a better idea of mask usage inside. Anybody has any questions about the response here or what's going on in Vietnam, please ask. Nice view from up here. This actually looks pretty deserted. What's up, Dazzle Shipped? There's almost nobody in here, actually. Sorry, connection wasn't good in there. So for any new viewers, this is Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, on a stormy evening. Just stopped raining a few minutes ago. Pretty heavy storm, actually. I'm sure there's probably a lot of flooded areas. Just wanted to give an update on the coronavirus situation here. The government just announced 41 new cases, which is a pretty big number for Vietnam, including cases in 2 provinces that hadn't seen them as part of this resurgent outbreak. That's a little concerning, both up north, but they're all still linked to Da Nang, the city on the central coast where this new outbreak started. They still don't know how it started or where it came from. We had gone over 3 months without detecting any community transmission, so it remains a mystery where that came from. We've also had 8 deaths since Friday. These are the first deaths related to coronavirus in Vietnam since the pandemic started, which still a very low number comparatively, but that's very upsetting. They've all been older, had pre-existing conditions. They were already in hospital when they got infected, so a lot of people are very upset by that. It's about 6:30 p.m. here on Wednesday. Just go for a little walk around. So starting today, also, people can be fined up to $15 for not wearing a mask in public. For a little while, mask uptake had been a little slow because people were really confident that the virus wasn't here, but let's see if, I'm not sure how many people will be out and about, but let's see if we can check on mask usage. Just going to cross the street. What's the population of Vietnam? It's about 96 million people, maybe closer to 97. Hey, Lucia. Oh, and also a Vietnamese viewer. How's it going? So this is a park that recently opened. Let's go through here, see if anybody's out and about. It's around evening rush hour, so a lot of traffic. You can still see some lightning off in the distance. So this right here is the city's first metro line that has been under construction for around 8 years now. It's way behind schedule. It's currently scheduled to open next year, but we're not sure if that's going to happen. It'll be great when it does, but as of right now, there's still no mass transit here in Ho Chi Minh City. Homeless Broomstick asks, has COVID gotten worse in Vietnam? Yes, it's still being managed really well. Um, this new outbreak is almost entirely centered in Da Nang. The city's on lockdown. The rest of the country is not. Ho Chi Minh City has closed bars and nightclubs. Hanoi has done the same, but otherwise businesses are open. They're just asked to, masks are back, hand sanitizer is back. People are asked to social distance if they can. A couple other questions. Lisa Burden asks, how did Vietnam keep its COVID rate so low? So they took very aggressive action early on. They shut the border with China in late January, canceled all flights. That's a big deal. China obviously borders Vietnam, and China's number one source of foreign tourists. And they eventually shut down travel from other countries like South Korea and Italy as it spread, and then eventually cut off all international travel in March. And the borders are still closed. And then they did aggressive contact tracing, instituted centralized quarantine. So anyone who did come in had to quarantine for 14 days. So aggressive early response. I've had it explained to me that is the pandemic playbook, and they followed it pretty much exactly. Lucia asks, surprised by which decision? Danny asks, any chance I can be able to visit by January 2021? I doubt it, to be honest. It depends on what country you're coming from, but I don't think tourism will open up here until there's a vaccine available. Ah, Lucia asks, was I surprised by their aggressive response to COVID? I was a little bit at first, just because I didn't realize how well Vietnam had handled the SARS outbreak back in 2003. They were globally lauded for that. So they have good experience, they've had good practice, and they followed, they just did what they were supposed to do, more or less, very effectively. And that up there, you've seen it in a couple of my videos, that's the tallest building in all of Southeast Asia, actually, not just Vietnam. Over there across the river. So this is the park I mentioned. It's dark and empty right now. Like I said, the huge storm just rolled through here, so nobody out here. But it's a nice, cool evening out. So again, for any new viewers coming in, this is Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam at 6:30 Wednesday evening. Just wanted to give people a coronavirus update from here. So the government just announced 41 new cases, 40 of which were community transmission, including in two provinces that hadn't had cases in this new outbreak, which is a little concerning. But it's still all linked to Da Nang. There's been no transmission that hasn't been linked to that city. People traveling from there or coming back from it, which we don't want to see transmission beyond that. It's still concerning, but so far as we know, as far as we can tell, it's being managed pretty well. Vic asks, how's the street food? Street food here is amazing. I think that's one of the big draws for visitors. It's one of the best parts of living here as well. So, yeah, just fantastic street food. So this is District 2 of Ho Chi Minh City, pretty residential area. Kind of known for where a lot of foreigners live, but still plenty of Vietnamese food and that sort of stuff as well. Let's see if I can get across the street without getting hit. Pedestrians, bit of a struggle here. No such thing as right of way for pedestrians. All right, still alive. Lucia asks, what are people's reactions to the outbreak? Similar to when it first started in January and February, people have taken it very seriously, but also with a lot of national unity and pride. Everyone wants to see the country do well together. There's not that like individualism that you see being a problem in the U.S. right now, for example, at times. So there's concern because we had been pretty confident that the virus was not here, although of course we kind of knew that it could come back. But as you can also see, plenty of people still out living their lives. So yeah, I think cautious optimism would be how I would describe the overall mood. Hello, Spiritual Lake. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to walk over to an area by the river and hope there's decent lighting. It's a little dark over here. This is live from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. If anyone has any questions about what's going on here, just let me know. I'll get through there. Someone said I should get a glowing vest. Probably not a bad idea. Some fishing going along here. That's the bridge for the metro line I was talking about a few minutes ago. That'll be the first in the city when it's completed. They say next year, but it's already been delayed numerous times, so we'll see about that. But looking forward to them finishing it. That'll be great. Zach Lee asked, do young people of Vietnam harbor any resentment to the U.S.? No. I mean, really, almost nobody does. The U.S. is highly regarded here. American pop culture is massive. People want there to be a good relationship with Vietnam because people see China as kind of the ancient enemy. So that's the country that people don't like, not the U.S. Lisa Burden asked, what do they use to treat COVID when it hits? To be honest, I'm not totally sure about that. In terms of medication, I will say I have no idea. But I know they've used, effective ventilation, and there's been a few patients to go on to ECMO treatment, which is a form of life support, but that, with a couple of cases, was really effective. But in terms of lower scale treatment, I will say I'm not sure. Lucia says it's quite incredible the way they've controlled COVID-19. I agree. I think everyone's in agreement on that, given how big the population here is in particular. They've really done a remarkable job. I felt quite safe here the entire time. Lisa asks, does a lack of community transport help COVID numbers stay low? Uh, I've seen that question. I mean, that's certainly a valid question. You know, there's no subways or anything like that for people to be crowded together on. But there is still lots of domestic flying. You know, major cities are very densely populated. So even if people aren't crammed together on a subway train, they're still very close to each other a lot of the time. Um, Generally, the response has been attributed to just quick, very effective, decisive action. So unfortunately, the lamps here are not on. I was hoping it would be a little better lit, but at least that's a nice view over there. Let's see, what does the building say? Oh, cash roll. It's an advertisement. I haven't seen that before. Yeah, so that's if you watch my stream from I think Friday, I was in that park across the river. That's a massive housing development and also the tallest skyscraper in Southeast Asia. Landmark 81. It's 81 stories tall. And Saigon River right here flows through the city into the East Sea, as they call the South China Sea here, or towards it at least. So again, for any new viewers, this is from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, country's biggest city, just giving a coronavirus update after the government just announced 41 new cases, including cases in two provinces that hadn't seen any in this new outbreak. We're still all linked to Da Nang on the central coast, which remains the epicenter of this fresh outbreak after going over 3 months with no detected community transmission. We're still kind of in wait and see mode. The government has said they've got it under pretty good control, and so far that seems to be the case. So that right there is the water bus. It stops at a few stations along the river. When it opened, I was hoping I could use it for a commute, but it kind of turned into more of a tourist thing. Really nice to ride on, though. There's great views. I will do a stream from there at some point. And it's 6:40 p.m. on Wednesday evening. Yeah, so Vietnam's death toll is at 8, all since last Friday, after going months and months with a death toll of 0, incredibly. So all 8 were over 50 years old. I think 7 out of 8 were over 60, and they all had already been in hospital with pretty serious issues when they caught coronavirus. And unfortunately, it's kind of tough to do anything in that situation. And also starting today, people can be fined up to $15 for not wearing a mask in public. I was hoping to get a sense of people wearing them or not. This is usually a fairly busy footpath, but I think because it rained really heavily earlier, there's not a whole lot of people out right now. It is the monsoon season, so afternoon and evening is always kind of a crapshoot when it comes to weather. Sorry, I know it's dark around here. Lots of lights that are installed but not on. It's just going to be pretty dark again, so I'll log off. But if anyone has any final questions, ask them in the next minute or so. Again, this is Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Just giving a coronavirus update. Government just announced 41 new cases, 40 of community transmission, bringing the national case total to over 700. You're killing me, as are there large numbers of expats? Yeah. Although a little bit fewer now because a lot of people left during the pandemic, and it's new people can't really move here given the border restrictions. Koreans actually by far the largest expat group here. And typical cost of living, that's really depends. It can be really cheap, or you can spend thousands of dollars a month on a villa. It really varies widely, but generally quite affordable. But yeah, I'm going to sign off here before I get back into a less well lit area. So that's my glasses are fogging up. But Mike Tatarski from Ho Chi Minh